Well, what is Israel supposed to do? Well, I've got a couple of answers to that. One, Israel shouldn't have broken the ceasefire in the first place. Okay, now, some people find that controversial. No, what are you talking about? Hamas fired the rockets. Hamas broke the ceasefire. Look, Hamas and Israel can pinpoint to 800 different things where they claim each other broke the ceasefire. But it is an established fact that Israel did start bombing the tunnels of Hamas before Hamas started firing the rockets, and they targeted some of their leaders, and they did the blockade, which is state violence. Now, if you're an Israeli, you say, hey, look, but they're smuggling weapons through that tunnel. Maybe they're smuggling food and medicine and other products too, but they're definitely smuggling weapons. I hear you on that. So they say, well, we had to bomb the tunnels. And here's what I say to that. No, you didn't. You didn't have to bomb the tunnels. When you bomb them, you break the ceasefire. But they were bringing in weapons. I know, because in their perception, they need those weapons for self-defense. And that perception is justified when then you bomb them. They go, see, I told you we needed the weapons. These guys are going to bomb us. And they did bomb us. It's circular. It keeps going around and around, right? And so is it justification for Israel to bomb the Gaza Strip because Hamas is bringing in weapons? And I have a revolutionary answer. No, it's not. Our enemies have weapons all the time. Doesn't mean we get to bomb them. We have weapons. It doesn't mean they get to bomb us. During the Soviet Union had a lot of weapons. Didn't mean we had to strike first. I know if you're an Israeli, from your perspective, you think, well, I want my state to have all the weapons, and I want my opponents to have no weapons. I get it, yeah. I mean, if I was you, I probably would prefer something like that as well. But that's not how the world works. And if like Israel, they don't have to dig tunnels to get the weapons. They already have them. They bought them from the U.S. In fact, they didn't even buy them. A lot of times they're just given the weapons by the United States. We give them $3 billion a year for weapons. Now, if Hamas bombed the U.S. because they were bringing in weapons to Israel, that would be terrorism. But when Israel bombs Hamas for bringing in weapons through Egypt, well, that's just, defending themselves. It's all a matter of definitions here. So, one thing they could have done is they could have not broken the ceasefire, which they did. Okay? Now, you can say it's justified, but they broke it. The second thing they could do is not fire back. Now, this is the most controversial of all. How could they not fire back? The rockets are landing inside Israel. Everybody is terrorized. I read a story where somebody claimed that 56% of the children in a certain town in Israel have post-traumatic stress disorder. The children inside the Gaza Strip had their legs amputated. And you just heard a story from Sky News. Or 30 of them are dead. They're not worried about post-traumatic stress disorder. They're worried about a rocket landing on top of their head. Now, but is Israel right to be concerned about rockets falling into its territory and its citizens being terrorized? Of course they are. I get that, right? But we always tell the Palestinians, go nonviolence, nonviolence. You've heard me say it on the show a million times. Do like Gandhi did, do like Nelson Mandela did, Martin Luther King Jr. But how come nobody ever asked Israel to go the route of nonviolence? Oh, no, but they had to retaliate. They had to bomb the Gaza Strip. They had to try to kill and assassinate the Hamas leaders. Why did they have to do it? Why isn't nonviolence also a possibility for Israel? Especially because they're bigger. It's like if you have an older brother and a younger brother, and the younger brother is a bit of a brat and he keeps punching you in the shins, right? You get annoyed. But you go bam and smack him upside the head and send his ass over to the other side of the room. Sometimes, unfortunately, you get frustrated and you do. But is it a good idea? No, because you're so... Imagine you start pummeling the kid as much as you can. It's not what decent human beings do. You're stronger. You can do a lot more damage. No, it's incumbent upon you to show a little bit of restraint. So if we're going to tell the Palestinians to be nonviolent, which we should and we do, we've also got to tell Israel to be nonviolent. But that side of the equation is completely ignored oftentimes. The third thing they got to do is sign a peace deal already. For the love of God, sign the deal. Oh, Arafat walked away from it. So did Ehud Barak in 2001. He said, I got an election. I got to go. I got to roll on out of here. So now, oh no, but the Palestinians don't want peace. Of course they... Look, if you gave the Palestinians the entire West Bank and you gave them half of Jerusalem and you gave them the right of return, would they sign the peace deal? They'd sign it in a second. Now, I don't think those are fair terms, and if I was Israel, I wouldn't sign that peace deal. But my point is, you're negotiating. One of the things they were negotiating over is how much of the West Bank Israel is going to keep and how much the Palestinians are going to keep. You know what? Give the Palestinians an extra 2%, call it a peace deal, and stop the madness already. It's a matter of choice. You're choosing war, and you're choosing for these people to die. And they are civilians, and they are kids, and it's unacceptable.